This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was just a little taste of what's coming up in the show tonight. Let me tell you what it's all about, basically. A few weeks ago, I did a video exploring the topic of how different do electric guitars all sound from each other. And I did like a blind test, and there was some footage of the dog, just to kind of mask which guitar was being played. And, the conclusion that I came to in that video might be at odds with the conclusion I might come to, because I'm winging this. I'm sort of building the plane as I'm flying it, shall we say. It might be different to the conclusion that I'm already starting to form for this video. In the previous video, it was, well, yes, obviously all of these guitars sound very different, so you need one of each for different situations. And then I was watching one of Steve Cassidy's videos, my pal Steve up in Dundee, and he was a comment he came out with. I don't know why it stuck in my head, but it did. But what he was saying was that in the band that he plays in, like a kind of functions kind of band that he's got going on, there's some footage of them on his channel actually, so go and check them out. Yeah, in the band that he plays in, they do a lot of 80s stuff, which means he absolutely categorically needs that position 4 sound on a Strat, the neck and middle pickup, because it's just the songs that they do, the material that they do just doesn't stand up without having that guitar tone on it. And that just sparked something in my mind, because recently I've just bought a Stratocaster, humble little Squire Classic Vibe 50s Strat, nice little guitar, and that sort of completed a little bit of a set for me, because never before have I had what I would think of as the big three in the same room together. I now own a Strat. The story of this Gibson Les Paul is well documented, and for some time now, about 5 years, thanks to another pal of mine over in the States, Joe, I also have a Telecaster, Nashville Telecaster, but still does all the Telecaster stuff. It has the switch there, so I can get the bridge and neck pickups on together. So those three guitars are what I think of as the big three, the benchmark guitars, if you like. Arguably you could include an SG, although how different to a Les Paul does that really sound, and a 335 and various others, and Rickenbackers and stuff. But for the stuff that I play, those are the sort of three corners of the triangle, if you like. So I thought it'd be an interesting experiment to see how well they can interchange roles. A Les Paul playing a part that you might associate with a Strat playing a part that you might associate with a Telecaster playing something you might, normally associate with a Les Paul. So that's what I've cooked up for you now. You saw a little teaser of it earlier, but here are those three guitars in a piece of music, and there are various kind of elements to this piece of music. There's a funky clean part, there's some clean fingerstyle chord playing, there's some clean lead playing, there's some crunchy kind of power chordy sort of stuff, and of course there's some high gain lead as well as some clean lead. Did I mention that already? Anyway, here's the piece of music, and then we'll talk about what it might mean. And just before we crack on, a little bit of housekeeping. There's a full tab for that piece of music in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and a jam track to play along with yourself. That is all, of course, where it usually is, up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is in the description, as I'm sure you know by now. $3 or £3-ish, depending on the exchange rate, per month gets you access to all of these goodies that go with these YouTube videos, usually about 3 times a week, sometimes more. All that sort of stuff just kind of hits the Patreon page. £3 a month, what's not to like? So obviously a massive thank you to everybody who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description, including the Tier 2 Patreon membership, where you get all of that stuff, plus a twice monthly hangout with me and the other Tier 2 supporters on Zoom every other Tuesday, 7 PM UK time. That's a great little get together. I can highly recommend it. And I also put up some extra additional bonus video content up on Patreon as well for the Tier 2 supporters. So thank you to everybody who signed up for that, as I say, or any of the other Patreon levels or courses or anything that's link down in the description. Thank you so much. You're keeping the lights on around here. Now, a little bit more kind of housekeeping to get through. The crunchy power chord stuff all the way through that were these settings on the Blue Guitar Amp 1. The clean, both funky and fingerstyle and lead guitar parts were the clean channel on the Blue Guitar Amp 1, and the high gain parts were the classic channel on the Blue Guitar Amp 1 with the foot switchable boost engaged, and that's what you were hearing. So what I can glean from that is that, well, you know, you associate maybe that funky Nile Rodgers-y kind of, yeah, comparing me to Nile Rodgers, I wish, but that sort of funky rhythm guitar part that it kicked off with, that's just, you know, that's Strat all day long. But the Les Paul did a pretty good version of it, I thought, as did the Telecaster. Big, crunchy, kind of riffy power chord stuff, you think Les Paul all day long, but this little Strat here, I am really impressed with the bridge pickup on this for doing that kind of thing. For years, for decades, I always thought the bridge pickup on a Strat was its weak link, you know, and every time I got a Strat it would be out with a bridge pickup and in with a humbucker. If only I'd known all you had to do was wire the tone control to the bridge pickup, you know, and I know it's an obvious thing, but it is a bit of a, I'm late to the party on that one. It really does kind of calm the spikiness of that bridge pickup. So the Strat did a fine job, I thought, on the crunchy riffy stuff, as did the Telecaster. You know, so what I'm getting at here is that, well, you know, if you only had to choose one of these guitars to take to a gig, I think they're all versatile enough to do everything. You just choose the one which happens to be your favourite on that particular day. With me, it's, you know, there are one or two guitars that I think, well, yeah, that's just a cut above, and you probably know which ones those are in this room. You see the ones you see most often, basically. But, you know, it would be whichever guitar was floating my boat on that particular day. And I know that Strat, Tele, Les Paul, if I had to turn up and do funk numbers, if I had to turn up and do kind of clean, strummy stuff, or kind of high gain lead, or clean, whatever, I know that the Strat, the Tele, the Les Paul would cover all of it, you know, with aplomb, because we just heard it. Let's dig a little bit further into that now. Because I often get a lot of newbie kind of guitar players, people who are, shall we say, the more mature gentlemen who are getting into guitar or rediscovering the guitar for the first time since, you know, they were a bit younger. And they often say, like, well, what's the difference between all of these different styles of guitars? So here are some isolated tones from that piece of music there. You're going to see all three guitars, just like a picture of it. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see pictures of all three guitars, and which one is being played will be highlighted at any given time. And this is an ideal opportunity to compare, you know, the sound of a crunchy Strat versus a crunchy Les Paul, or a clean Tele versus a clean Strat, or that kind of thing. Here it is. So that throws into stark relief, I think, the different flavours that each guitar brings to the table. But as I said, I think each one of those three guitars was more than versatile enough to do each of those different sounds: clean, crunch, high gain, whatever. As I say, it just depends upon what your favourite is on that day. And I suppose it also depends upon what your outlook is in terms of getting the right tone for the part. There are some people who are, I guess, like accurate. They want to be accurate. You know, okay, so we're going to do a Dire Straits tune, early Dire Straits, I need a Strat. Then there are some people who are hyper accurate, who don't just need, for that Dire Straits tune, they don't just need a Stratocaster. They need a rosewood board Stratocaster. You know, maybe even they might even need, you know, a 61 spec Strat, and it has to go into whatever Knopfler was playing on that session. Was it Fender Deluxe Reverb, or I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, certainly a Fender amp, you know, and those people are well served by, you know, the likes of Quad Cortex, Tonex pedal, and now that new one that's come along, the Poly thing, you know, the kind of touchscreen sliders on it, that everybody, at the time I'm making this video, everybody's raving about that. So if you want to go down that hyper accurate route and recreate not just the sound but the entire rig that appeared on the original record, you can do that. And then there are people like me who are just, well, I'll do what fits, you know. I mentioned this in several videos. The sound that I want for a particular part is one that fits in the overall, in that place in the jigsaw puzzle that the overall mix actually is. You know, there's a sonic footprint that you need to fit within. And the conclusion I've come to in this video is that, well, any one of the big three guitars, a Les Paul, or a Stratocaster, or a Telecaster, any one of the three, what I think of as the three benchmark guitars, perhaps the reason why they are considered benchmark guitars is because, you know, they've got they are like Swiss Army knives, and there's not much that they can't do. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Do you need you know, various different types of guitars for different roles, or do you have loads of guitars and just choose the one that pleases your that floats your boat on that particular day? Do you need to be the hyper accurate kind of player who has to have the exact tone from the original recording dialed in, or are you like me, just you know, play what sounds good, or somewhere in between? There's a spectrum there, isn't there? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. But that is the video for today, folks. Hope you found it entertaining and useful in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 PM UK time, where we just have a beer and chat, basically. Nothing more complicated than that. Just a great way to kick off the weekend, having a natter and a few beers on a Friday. What's not to like about it? Anyway, it's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.